Welcome to Sib Spot. Today's featured Reddit stories are from Tales from Retail. Our first story is by HamCon1. No, I cannot give you $15 in quarters. Where I work, we were given orders that we do not break bills for customers, that the tills have been opened too many times in the past and could also be a risk of someone getting us to open it, then stealing from it. Many customers hate that, as they seem to think that since we have an ATM in the store, rented area by the bank, that we can break bills. Now, most just do the thing of buying some gum, so we have no choice but to give them what they want, even after we tell them that just across the street there is a place that has told us to send these customers over as he wants bigger bills. This brings me to a customer coming in and he just wants change for a 20. Tell him no, and there's a place across the street that will help. He goes back into his car, asks what he think is his wife, what she wants, comes back in, gets some gum, and says, "Now can I get $15 in quarters?" And I tell him no, since I do not have that much in my till. He starts to get angry and asks why we can't just take some out of our safe. My coworker and I tell him that we can't do that. I was even going to tell him the tubes of quarters may not be rolled up, since a lot of times the tubes are from us putting in extra quarters from our tills and not from a bank. The customer leaves and drives across the street, and all I can think of was, why do you go to a convenience store to get quarters? I'm guessing this person had a lot of laundry that they needed to do. If you're an adult, you don't see as much value in quarters as you do when you're a child. When you're a child, you can use them on those little vending machines that have junk inside them. And it's always exciting to get something like that for a quarter. Although I do know that the price of most of these things has gone up. You can't even play like typical arcade games with a quarter anymore. It costs you $1 sometimes. Most laundromats, though, have a way to break bills for quarters as is. So I have no idea why he wants all these quarters. Maybe he's got to make a phone call at one of those old-fashioned phone booths. I don't know. Our next story is by Hunter Odd 7138. This is a toy shop, not a post office. It was a busy Saturday, and I was one of the two people behind the till. A woman entered the shop and came directly to the till checkouts, pointed at me and said, "I want you to help me." This encounter automatically felt rude and patronizing, but I still came out from behind the till, smiling, and politely asked her what she would like help with. The woman proceeded to ignore my question and simply turned around and walked toward the Lego section. So I followed her, but could already tell this was going to be a difficult customer. Once we arrived at the Lego section, she told me to hold out my hands, as she proceeded to hand me the 4 most expensive Lego sets the shop sold. Then, without conversing, she walked straight back to the till checkouts while I followed, carrying her items. As I was scanning the items through the till, I could feel her staring straight back at me, but I could tell she was not someone who would have appreciated polite small talk, so I decided to just silently get on with it. After I had scanned through her items, she refused a bag, which I thought was odd since these Lego sets were not small, and I could see she didn't have any bags on her. I told her the sum of £496. However, she refused to pay me until she had seen her receipt, which I told her multiple times was not possible, as the receipt will only come out of the machine once the payment has been processed, something she clearly did not want to hear. After explaining multiple times the ins and outs of any sort of transaction, that the payment comes before the receipt, she eventually accepted defeat and paid for her items. However, as soon as the transaction was complete, she told me she wanted these items to be sent to London for tomorrow. I, very confused at this point, then began to explain to her that we don't do such requests, and if you want to send these to London, you will have to do it on your own accord separately. I also gave her the option that she could order the same products online and have them delivered to London, but that was all I could do to help. As you can imagine, she was most unhappy with my response and demanded an immediate refund. Once the refund was settled, I apologized for any inconvenience, and she stormed out of the shop without saying another word. I love customer service. I'm definitely noticing a trend from a lot of the people who post these on Reddit. Stormed is one of those words that people always use to describe a Karen walking away from you. She stormed over, she stormed up to me, she stormed away, she stormed out of the building. It really gives you a good idea of how angry somebody is when they're walking away in a stormy manner. Our next story is by Lyric1133. Customer yells at me over wedding cake flavored cake. Hello everyone, this is my first post. I'll try to keep it short. I'm a cake decorator going on 2 years now, and I had an old man, like 70 plus, come to my counter asking for wedding cake flavored cake. Interaction goes as follows. Customer: do y'all bake custom cakes? Me: well, we don't necessarily bake them, but we do decorate them, yes. Customer: well, then where do they come from? Me: we get them shipped in from a company every week. Customer: well, how long does it take to get one? Me: we always have some on hand. Customer: well, okay. Do y'all have any wedding cake flavor? Me: well, that kind of depends on your definition of wedding cake flavor. We have people order all kinds of different things for their wedding cakes, but our 2 most popular flavors for wedding cakes are white and almond. Customer: well, is that wedding cake flavor? Me politely tries to explain that that doesn't really exist. Customer: can you make me a wedding cake flavored cake, yes or no? In this moment, I felt myself getting really angry as it had been a long day and I was tired. I called for my coworker to handle it. He asked her the same questions. She ends up telling him that wedding cake flavor is white. He leaves yelling about how he doesn't want just plain white cake and how we don't know how to do our jobs. My field of work is one where customers love to act like they know more about cake than us. It's endlessly frustrating. Edited to add, I'm in America, so no fruitcake, LOL. I am not in Louisiana, so no wedding cake flavor. As a commenter has mentioned, yes, wedding cake is a different texture as it needs to be structurally sound, and we do bake our wedding cakes upon request. However, the customer still chooses the flavor. And buttercream is not a cake flavor, it is an icing type, which is the usual for wedding cakes. It's just funny, they had to edit and add 4 different things because people in the comments also believe that they know more about cakes than these people who literally make cakes for a living. We've come to the end of another episode. If you enjoy this content, please click like or subscribe or leave a comment below. Until we meet again, have an invigorating day.